So I should have made this video a while ago. Also, I'm going to link a video down below. I did a short podcast with Sock Tripper 666. I'm going to link that below. Now I do plan on doing. I plan on me and him having a pretty lengthy conversation at a certain point, maybe an hour, 4 different segments of 30 minutes or an hour, because there's a lot we did not discuss. So I'm going to link that below. But this video is, I feel I should have made this video a very long time ago, and it's about ego. Now, it's important you understand what an ego is, and it's also important you understand that this ego is not against you. It's nothing to fear, to feel like you need to go up against, or to, because this in spirituality, fucking joke, they try to push this thing on you that your ego's horrible and you need to get up to your higher, which, dude, I'm telling you, you're elevating your ego to your higher self. So why are you going to sit here and nitpick your ego to death? Because you will realize I do not like spoiling things for you. But I'm telling you what you are going to realize is you are the ego. The higher self is the ego. The ego is the higher self. And you may be thinking or saying to yourself, well, how is that even remotely possible? Because you just said we're elevating the ego to the higher self. Well, you have to understand what an ego is. So, what I'm claiming is that your higher self, your true self, is in this ego. So, what I mean by that is, it is essentially like you were brought up. Use the Truman Show for an analogy. Even though, don't mind fuck yourself and think you're really in a Truman Show and people's watching you and shit. Don't do that. Do not do that. Because that's not what's going on. But comparably speaking, imagine that. Think of the Truman Show in your mind. Now, this gentleman, Jim Carrey, or Truman, I guess, in the show, was raised on set. He was raised up on the set. So he took that as real, correct? Even though the real him was in there, he was method acting his whole life and didn't realize it. Do you understand? So it's basically like you. I'm going to throw out some names here. People I talk to. It's like you, Blake. You, Luca. You, Lucas. You, Sean. You, whoever. It's like you were brought up on the set of a movie, method acting, but the real you is in there. So the higher self is in the ego, method acting, until it's time to wake up and snap out of it. Then the higher self elevates the ego. That's the best way I can explain it to you. So all these spiritual people out here like talking shit about the ego, for one, you need to understand what an ego is, and for two, you need to differentiate the difference. Why did I say that twice? You need to understand the difference between an ego and an overinflation of an ego. And then once you've got this ego and you've about got it up to the higher self, you accept the death of that ego. But you don't talk shit about the ego because you are the ego. And what I mean by accepting the death of the ego, because this gets conflated and convoluted and it sounds confusing, so I'm going to clarify this. So you're probably listening to this and saying, well, actually, brother, you just said not to do any crazy shit with this ego, like not to go against it or act like it's whatever. So why are you wanting to accept the death of that ego? Because you want to accept the death of the ego so you can become your true self and your higher self. The ego is connected with programming. The ego is connected with bullshit backstories. The ego is connected with the past, which you never want to forget the past. It's just there for a learning guide, basically wisdom. So I do not, if I were you, this is just a suggestion. I would not ever look at this as the ego is bad and the ego is trying to like coerce me into doing things, and the ego's my opponent and enemy, because it's not. Your ego's not, dude. You are your own worst enemy. But you can't look at it that way, because if you look at it like it's your own, so if I make the claim I'm your enemy, what does that automatically do? That puts a wall up, and it puts you against me, correct? So that's what people do with an ego. And then they wonder why they're miserable and suffer. You've bit into bullshit. I'm telling you, I've tried telling you, this is craziness. So, I'm sorry, because I have just watched and listened to people make some pretty solid points that I actually agree with. I actually agree with them, no doubt about it. But their choice of wording and their understanding of these words is not there. Like, they had a horrible choice of words. The understanding of these words were not there. Now, I'm very, very, very particular with the words I use. Now, sometimes I get on here and get annoyed and talk a bunch of bullshit, and later on I regret it sometimes. But I try to pick my words carefully. I try to simplify this to explain it to you, and I try to use the way I deliver this carefully, because I never want you to listen to me and think that it's you versus something, or you are your own worst enemy, or any of this. What the only message, listen, I'm going to get this message through to you. It's the same message I've been sending for 3 years. Know yourself. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself and love yourself. And then do unto others. Now, while you're doing this, you're going to have to deal with emotional bullshit. You're going to have to deal with trauma. You're going to have to deal with some anxiety and depression and some bullshit, no doubt. But what's on the other side of that is far, 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 far beyond your wildest fucking dreams and imagination. I'm telling you, man. So you want to become lucid. Fully fucking lucid you want to become. And that's what I'm trying to present you with. I'm trying to give you the gift. So please accept it. So, again, just to clarify this, and then I'm going to go into something else for a moment. Your ego is not your enemy. You need to tame the overinflation of the ego. You need to tame it, humble it, mold it. And then eventually what you'll discover is all these parts of you are you. You will discover that the ego is you. So I'm just saying, man, if you do not understand this stuff, don't go watch these spiritual motherfuckers, because they will have you running around in circles, like beating yourself up and nitpicking yourself, dude. This is so much bullshit out here. I'm really trying to help, dude. I promise you that's all I'm doing is trying to help. And you will. I promise you this. You will thank me when this is over. You will thank me. You don't understand. You're enslaved by a mental fucking prison of thoughts and programs. You don't fully understand that. And I'm telling you, the fucking door is wide open. I mean, the door is wide open. That's why I'm confused about what you're waiting for. So let's stop this and go into something else, because I mentioned in another video, hey, I'll tell you what to do, how to do it, what would happen if you do it. And this is what I'm telling you, sober the fuck up. And I'm going to be very specific with this. Get off drugs, man. All of these drugs, get off of them. Because I'm going to tell you why. Everything serves a purpose until it no longer serves a purpose. And we're way beyond the point of drugs serving a purpose. Like, straight up, dude. So sober up. And I'm going to explain to you how to sober up. What's going to happen when you do sober up. The outcome that will occur. And I'm going to explain to you how that's what you want to happen. So listen. Incremental changes. Get it and make your own mind up. For one, make your mind up and realize, hey, I want to get off drugs. Even weed. Yes, I'm calling weed a drug. Anything that changes anything that changes your natural state of being or consciousness is a drug. So, I mean, caffeine and everything, nicotine. I mean, I'm just telling you, man. You don't have to go to extremes with it, but you need to lay off the weed. You need to, like, I'm just telling you. Because I'm going to tell you what's happening. You want to open your heart up. You've been saying you want to open your heart and free your mind. Well, let me tell you what's occurring. These drugs make you numb. They filter out feelings and emotions. So these drugs make your mind numb and hazy. They block out emotions and feelings. So what you need to do is baby steps. Baby steps. After you've made your mind up, some amazing things will happen. But first, just do baby steps. So once you've got off these drugs, set down. Baby steps. Remember, baby steps. I'm talking every drug. I don't care how minuscule. I don't care how moderate. If you want to go back to doing drugs when this happens, in moderation. But I have a pretty good feeling you won't. So, baby steps. And then once you get off these drugs, sit down. Do some self-reflection. Feel these feelings. As they arise, feel them. Let them run through you. And what will happen is you will feel the most overwhelming sense of love, and it will bring upon a bursting of tears. Like I'm talking, you will boo-hoo cry in it, but it'll feel amazing in the best way possible. Then it's going to feel like something grabs your heart, picks it up, and gently opens it. I mean, it really won't feel like gentle, but what I mean is like you can feel something holding your heart and then it feels like it's breaking open, but it does not hurt. There's nothing to be scared about because once this happens, it is the most overwhelming sense of love and joy and bliss you're ever going to experience. That's how you open your heart and free your mind. And why do you want this outcome? Because you're going to stay stuck in a fucking cycle and a pattern if you don't, man. I'm telling you. That's what you want. So please don't even doubt this. I think you know deep down in your heart I'm telling you the truth. So, like, sober the fuck up, man. Please. We're this fucking close, dude. Like, do you see that? Like, we're that close. Sober up. Sober up. That's all it takes. Sober up. Because you're letting this shit influence you and affect you. You take this shit, you get irritable. You take this shit to get energy. Then you take that shit because you're anxious. And then you take that shit because you think you need to sleep. Your whole entire life's been wrapped up in a dream, dude. And these drugs is making time slip. You're not even living. I'm telling you, the only thing between what you want is drugs. So, it's not the only thing. Now, don't get me wrong. See, now I'm bullshitting you. I'm sorry. Let me be very clear. That's not the only thing. Drugs is preventing you from opening your heart and dealing with emotions and dealing with trauma fully. So, you have to cut these drugs out and then feel these emotions and deal with the trauma. And then your heart will open and you can cut the past completely the fuck out and free your mind, because once the heart opens, the mind will go at the exact same moment. So, and again, I'm not claiming you want to get rid of a mind completely, but you just want to get rid of that human mind, because that human mind is distinctly built upon programs, lies, deceptions, cycles, patterns in the past. You don't want that. So, I've laid this out for you, man. Step by step by step, I have simplified it and simplified it. Please trust me. Please, I don't ask you to trust me or believe me at all. But, dude, I'm telling you, you're going to have to believe and trust me. What's the alternative? What's the alternative to not believing and trusting this? Living the same bullshit life you've been living? That's not living, brother. That's existing. So, I mean, dude, I told you months ago, you're going to have two options. You're either going to believe what I'm telling you or disbelieve what I'm telling you. And either way you choose, you will be right. It's how powerful you are, man. It's a game of form and the play of life. I'm you talking to you. Yes, you. I have and always will be you talking to you, because this is what we do. We create illusions. We have an experience. We tell stories. We snap out of it, tell more stories, get to a point to where we fucking trust and believe, become lucid, or wake up, whichever way you want to put it. And then we create reality, or enjoy reality. Dude, it's such a paradox that I can't even explain it to you. You're just gonna have to trust me and you'll see what I mean. Because you ain't living. This ain't life. This isn't even reality the way it's meant to be. This is a bullshit illusion with projections going on. So, and I'm not claiming what happens after this is real, because it's very important to me you understand what an illusion is. But what's coming will feel more real than this. Because this is not our true nature. This is a fucking madhouse, dude. We're all mad here, right? Yeah. You're fucking mad here. Realize that. It's all madness, man. So, I love you. I do love you, man. I promise you I love you. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't be doing this. I think you know that. I know I come across sometimes as a little bit harsh, as a little bit arrogant, as a little bit like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? But you need that. Trust me, you need that. I'm sorry, because it's all love, man. It is all love. You will thank me when this is over. So, wake up.